Alrighty, good morning. Welcome to Tuesday morning, August 27th, 2024, CONFAB. Glad to have you with us this morning. We have a Paris 2024 theme, and you can see the rebroadcasting of this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, at times on your screen, Sunday at times on your screen, or on the resident website if you would like at your convenience. The call-in number is 6304, and you'll see obviously a lot of gold, silver, and other themes going through today. So, before I go, many of you know, congratulations here to Charlie Swanson, the proud grandson of Joan and Ted Swanson, winning not one but 2 medals.
One with the arrows pointing to it.
Second, thank you. The second, I had to look at that before too. The second one over with the arrows. But the mixed 4x100 medley relay swimming, there was a gold. The men's 4x100 relay swimming was a silver. So, neat, because I remember talking with Joan not too many months ago. He was heading to Omaha for qualification, didn't know what would entail in his future, being, I think, 26 years old, if I remember correctly, and qualified, and here he is. I think I heard Saturday night, if I remember correctly, also got engaged. His fiancée is finishing up a physical therapy degree somewhere up there in the warm climate of Michigan, and has a bright future ahead of him, and now has 2 gold medals to carry around. So congratulations to Charlie and to the Swansons. All right, so we have our 2 Olympians. Tia Coles, which I believe Tia's off today. So Tia's not here. Many of you know Tia, have been up there, have had loved ones or friends up on 6 Harside Rehab. I wanted to take a moment to express heartfelt gratitude to the exceptional care Tia provided me during my rehab stay. Your compassion, kindness, and expertise made a significant difference in my recovery and overall experience. Your dedication to your patients is truly admirable, and I feel fortunate to have had you by my side. You are the best in your profession, and I'm grateful for all you do. Thank you again for your care and support. You're a true heroine in my eyes. Tia Coles. And now next, if you actually have seen Jeff run, he is near Olympian level runner. Dude can move. Jeff Harrington, been only around here, how many, 6 months? Somewhere around there. Even got his green on for Christmas today. So, Jeff Harrington. Jeff has driven the transport van several times to take my friend and I to his doctor's appointments. He is such a nice person, always in a great mood. It's a great pleasure to be around him because he is of his such outgoing personality. Jeff helps us to forget the discomforts of traveling, especially on days when my friend is feeling rather unwell. Jeff always gets us to where we need to go. He provides me with a step stool to get in and out of the van securely and pushes my friend's wheelchair into the doctor's office. My friend and I both think the world of him and are thankful we have gotten to know him. I wish him the best. Jeff, come on up. All right. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about the Employee Christmas Fund, I believe. I'm kidding. We're talking Ted first. Ted, I almost had you gone and out of here. We're close.
I think I see how it is now. I tell you what, some tough acts to follow there, is it not? So, anyway, I just wanted to start off with thanks to everyone for all the professional retiring advice I have gotten in the last several weeks. I really appreciate that. So I think I'm going to have it covered how to handle my retirement. If not, I'll stop by here one day and get refreshed. So thanks everyone so much. As you can imagine, God dang it. it's been a really big impact on my life working here, starting many years ago as a young guy. So such a big impact, it's actually changed the vocabulary in our house. We're not allowed to use the word elevators or parking. Cannot say parking. We call it place in the vehicle. Generators, that's a no-no. We call it power producers. And inspections. No, can't use that word either. We call it take a good close look or something like that. So, and sorry, Denise, but pools. We're not allowed to use pools either. So we go with the old Beverly Hillbillies cement pond type thing. So we'll go with that. So anyway, so thank you so much. No one gets to be in this position without a lot of help. Sean mentioned last month about he and I being shoulder to shoulder here at times. Dang it. When things were going well, he didn't see the guys. Well, he did see the guys behind us, and many of you didn't. Guys like, you call them on the phone, and they'll answer the phone in the third ring. The first ring is like, okay, the phone's ringing. The second one is, oh, it's Ted. Third ring, I'm going to answer it right away. And many, many, many times I've heard, I'm on my way. Guys like Rick Myers, Johnny Hamlet, Matt Ward, Larry Thomas, and as of late, Tim Loretta, who just joined our crew several years ago. Be lost without those guys, and the rest of the guys in our office, and Tammy keeps us afloat and keeps us looking good in there as well. So, and takes all their calls and everything. So, met a lot of people, made a lot of great friends, residents and staff alike. So many of you are hard to not like, excuse me. And, what's that slip? Okay. That's not in the minutes, right? That's taken out? Okay. No, many of you guys are really, really super awesome for serving on the committees, or just walking around the hallways and getting your suggestions on things that need to be taken care of. So, and also want to mention before I forget, at the front desk area, back in the COVID days especially, Jeff Harmon and Yalfet Skinner, man, they had so much thrown at them day to day on packages and how to operate from different directions given to us through different agencies or things we came up on our own. So just wanted to say I hope we see you on Thursday. I'd love for you to meet my wife, Sarah. Dang it. All right. Thank you.
Cry when I talk about my wife all the time.
Good morning! Merry Christmas! It's that time again! What's that I hear? It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And I'm not sure about that Sandy Ramori up there. But I guess it fits. It fits. We are thankful that we can see you all, but we have something extra special today for you to see that I think you will enjoy. So, gentlemen, will you all please come up here and show us what you got?
Carmela, a cafe staffer, has a radiant smile she shares, and if you ever saw it, you would surely know she cares. All of the cafe staffers share their friendly smiles each day. They never fail to greet us, then happily send us on our way. Then the friendly nursing staff takes good care of us. Always focused on our roles, our best health is their main goal. Buildings and grounds teams help us as the housekeepers work with glee. They and all their staffers will go down in history.
Thanks to all the staff.
Thanks to all the staff.
I trust, are we there? I trust you all enjoyed seeing these pictures. And I've already shared with Keith and the head nurses to please share with the staff. We do want to make sure this year that we come up with a lot of money. Last year we did well, and we certainly want to match or do a lot better this year as well. Margaret, it's all yours.
Well done, gentlemen. Thank you, Sandy. Great job. And ladies. I was looking up here.
Good morning. I'm Margaret Mundy. I was the first resident in Hearthside. Laura Morrison is the co-chair of the Employee Christmas Fund. And I have to say something. It's really hard to follow talent like this in the front row. My gosh, whoever set up this agenda, next time I'll have to talk to you. And how many math professors do you know who would do what Sandy does? It's pretty amazing. This is the committee for the Christmas Fund, and we're hard at work, and I hope all of you are hard in making your donations for the Christmas Fund. Some of you may have noticed an error in the letter that I sent out, Laura and I sent out about the Christmas Fund. We said Hearthside instead of Hearthside. But it really was kind of one of those serendipitous good mistakes, because we want people to be giving money from their heart. But I still live in Hearthside. The Christmas Fund was established by the resident council to say thank you to all the employees. You know that we can't give tips, we can't give gifts, so this is the one time every year that we can recognize them. We say thank you, I think, on a regular basis, at least I do. I've never been around a group of people that are as cheerful and as helpful as the people who work here. They're really wonderful. Last year, we distributed a gift to 374 employees. It's shared by full-time and part-time, even the high school students who work as a cashier on the weekends in the cafe. Corporate officers and department heads are not included in these gifts. How can you give? You can write a lump sum check, and we've got boxes out now where you can put your checks in, or you can also have automatic donations added to your bill every month. Well, let's talk about it. The check should be made out to Westminster Canterbury Residents Association, and please put the Christmas Fund in the lower left-hand corner. There are boxes near the reception desk, a drop box in the Riverside lobby, and a box by the wood dining room. Automatic donations usually start in December, but you can make them whenever you wish. You can change the amount or increase it or start them. There will be a donation form put in your bill with your November invoice. If you're already on the monthly program, you don't need to make a change unless you wish to change the amount that you're going to put in each month. All gifts are voluntary and confidential. The Resident Council approved a 50-cent increase in March 2022. Suggested amount is $2.50 per person per day. Only you can decide what's appropriate, and it is totally confidential, and it's not tax deductible. Darn. Now, how much is $2.50 a day? You know, I don't like little numbers like that. I like big lumps because I understand them better. So I figured it out. It's like $76 a month. Well, I don't know about you, but I certainly spent that much on a cleaning lady, on Christmas gifts for them, on tips when I went out to eat, home maintenance. Anytime somebody came to work on my house, you know, there was a little extra that went along to the worker. So $2.50 or $76 a month is a real bargain. The boxes are out and ready to receive your gifts if you're not doing the monthly, or if you want to increase. I didn't understand it when I came in. I didn't, you know, when I was the first resident, so I signed up for a modest amount every month, and I realized, uh-oh, I need to make up. So I just put my check in to make up for the difference. There's a box in the wood, near the wood dining room as well. Need to have the donations by November 30th. The supervisors will distribute the gifts to the employees before the Christmas party. And the Christmas party is scheduled for December 11th. Thank you, and I hope you all have a Merry Christmas a little early.
Margaret,
Yes.
I have a question. I noticed, y'all hear me? I noticed in the Riverside lobby, the box is red. Is that right?
Yes.
Are the others red as well?
No, the one in the main lobby is tan. And
Okay.
it's where the crossword puzzles are kept. It's labeled. There's a label on it.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that, you know, we knew the colors there, since that's a new one.
Yeah, that's a new one, is right.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, or morning. So just a few things I'm going to run through. I've already started working on our new fall-winter menu 4-week cycle, so that should be coming out October 7th. Again, just a reminder, it went from 5 weeks to 4 weeks. And a couple days after that, the new James River Grill and Dogwood Dining Room menus will be coming out. I know a lot of these things we're just kind of rehashing. Filet Fridays, everything is now sold frozen, just for safety. We want you to keep it frozen. When we'll give it to you frozen, take it back, put it in your freezer, and then thaw it out when you're ready to use it. Upcoming events, I'm not going to go through all of them, but our next event is going to be the Labor Day Buffet. We will be serving hamburgers and hot dogs, just to let everybody know. And then we have a wine tasting coming up on the 3rd in the James River Grill, and then trivia night. And then our next bridge event will be the Halloween party. Again, just kind of going over some reminders. We ask that when you come in for your reservation, that the reservation time is the time that you come in to actually sit down and go ahead and order. So if you want to come in and have a couple cocktails before, please come in a little bit early. We'll have your table ready for you before then. If not, just give us a call and we'll make sure that we do. And then, as always, please return the green boxes. I think that's all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
How soon before the time that we're reserved, can we come in a half an hour early?
Yeah, typically a half hour early. If you need to come a little earlier, please just give us a call. I mean, I think just to err on the side of caution, just always give us a call and say, hey, I want to come in a little early just to make sure, but it's usually never going to be a problem. Anybody else? All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Good morning. Long time no see. It's been a while since I've been up here, but just wanted to go over, some of you may have heard or you may not have heard, last Wednesday we had an emergency preparedness drill on campus. We did a bomb threat / suspicious package drill on campus. We definitely learned some things from the drill, and there's some things that we're going to change to our policy. That's why we do these drills. We want to make sure that we can react the way that we're supposed to react, and this was one that we had never done before. So we definitely had a lot of questions from staff. We had a lot of questions from residents, which were really good, and we're going to utilize that to update our policy and then do more education with our staff on that. We will probably do this drill again in the coming months, just because we do see the benefit of it, and we do think that a lot of staff learn from it, and we want to make sure that we continue to benefit from those drills. Just always remember, if you see something suspicious, this is very suspicious because it actually says that it is. This is what we used for our drill. Some of you, that unlucky people that came across the bridge when Lori and I were on the bridge, had to follow the instructions to call this into the front desk. But we also did that in assisted living. We did stuff in healthcare. We did an email bomb threat, we did a written bomb threat, and we did a telephone bomb threat. So it was kind of an all-day event. So the front desk, we want to thank Yvette because she got hit a few times throughout the day with her people reporting suspicious packages or bomb threats. So we're going to work on that. If you see something suspicious, don't touch it, don't move it. Go ahead and call the security or the front desk. We'll come and look at it. It's not going to be as obvious as this, probably. But you never know. It could be something like a random backpack, or, you know, if there's a box that's ticking, that's suspicious. We don't want to touch those things. So those are the things that you're not going to want to touch. Hopefully you guys would never, ever get a bomb threat called to you or anything, but if you were to, we're teaching the staff more this end of it. You know, you want to get as much information as possible and notify the front desk. So that is, are there any questions about the emergency preparedness drill or the bomb threat before I move on to two little things that don't involve that?
Has there ever been a bomb threat?
Hold on.
Has there ever been a bomb threat?
Not as long as I've been here. I'm looking at Ted, Paul that's been here a little longer. The answer is no. So we hope that will be the case, just like we've never had an active shooter, and we hope that'll never happen as well.
I was thinking we just recently in the last year had a case of where a family member threatened our staff. And fortunately, our staff were smart enough to get a second person on the phone, get the police involved. It ended up being a son who had some challenges. Fortunately, we went through our protocols that night and days after, but did not have any bad consequences. But there are things one-off of this sometimes that we deal with. When you deal with people, there's a lot of opportunities for it.
Yes, definitely. Any other questions about the emergency drill? All right, just quickly, two more things. Flu vaccines have actually come in already. They came in early. This is probably the first time in 5 years since COVID started that the flu vaccines have come in on time, which is wonderful. So Andrea will be posting for you guys to come to the clinic and get your flu vaccine, or if you get it elsewhere, that's fine too. Just let her know that. So we're happy to have those here early. COVID vaccines, if you signed up for them, we did pre-order them already, and I expect them to come sometime in September, but I don't have a date yet. You're welcome to get those at your doctor's office or your pharmacy as well. We have seen an uptick in COVID cases in Lynchburg and on campus, and I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little numbers on that. So in April, we only had 2 cases on campus. In May, we had 1. In June, we had 2. In July, we had 17. And this month so far, we've already had 19. And I had to add 2 numbers to my sheet this morning before I even came up here. So just know that we always want to try and be safe. If you feel like you should wear a mask, please do. If you feel sick, please call the clinic and let Andrea come and test you. You know, we want to make sure that we stay as safe as possible, and hopefully one day I will come up here and tell y'all, Dr. Gale, don't laugh, that there is no such thing as COVID anymore. All right, any questions for me? Thank you, guys.
Good morning. I have a few items from our Resident Life and Wellness Office. I wanted to mention, as of the new fiscal year, we'll be increasing our transportation fee. We have not increased this fee for 15 years. So it's time. And due to the gas costs and the staffing, having wonderful Jeff Harrington here, we will increase our fee from $6 per trip to $10 per trip. So you'll see that come out as of October 1st. And then this fall, we will be holding our annual transition series on the continuum of care that we provide within our community. So look to your newsletter and you'll start seeing more information about that. And then I see some new residents sitting out there. For you, we have our last series of our new resident program this Friday, so thank you for attending that. And then wanted to mention, just yesterday, I had 2 residents approaching me about scams. So I just wanted to remind you that they continue to be rampant across our community and to stay aware and do not give your personal information to anyone unless it's a trusted source. And one incident I heard about yesterday was especially scary because the person wanted them to drive to them to provide financial means. We have had some staffing issues in our healthcare salon, and I apologize for the effects it's had on you. We're trying to get back to business as usual to better serve you. So thank you for staying patient with us. We appreciate that. We are working hard on that. And then lastly, just wanted to mention parking, the dirty word parking. We are going to get some do's and don'ts out in the newsletter for parking, so please help us in our cause toward that effort. Any questions for my office? I see some hands.
There was a naughty little rumor circulating that transportation services were only available for medical appointments during regular business hours. Can you confirm or deny that?
I can. So right now we have had to kind of streamline what we are doing, and mostly we are doing just medical appointments. Let me add, we still will have our weekly shopping trips as well.
Okay, Lisa, this is a question. I understand all of the other transportation that we request. Will it start being charged to us traveling on the bus to like Kroger on Friday mornings?
Good question. So no, you will not be charged for the shopping trips to Kroger or any other shopping trips. Any group activities are still not charged. Anything else? Thank you. Oh, I see another hand.
What is the policy when the cars are parked in backwards in the parking lot and there's no label on them?
That is a good question.
Who is checking on that?
Ted, I'm going to hand that over to you.
I'm retired now. Not go around theirs, Matt. I'll take that. Thus, the do and don't things coming out next week, right? Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on that closer.
So security checks the stickers, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Oh, one more.
Is it possible that some of those people that are parking without stickers are Azalea members, and don't they have permission to park in resident parking?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the answer is
So
yes.
you can't keep track of it.
That's correct. We have that from time to time. It's hard to keep track of who's coming in, and you stop them, they're going to go swimming or something. They have permission to park there.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
I have to start my talk with with an apology, and it's never good to do that. But I am sorry I left off some very important information in your monthly that you are going to receive this week. So in September, there's a few things I just want to introduce you to, some activities that will happen in September. They're part of WC University. We've been really quiet over the summer, kind of low-key, school's out of session sort of idea, but we're gearing back up for the fall. And one of our events, I completely forgot to put the information, the most important information, the time, the date, and the location. So you got a nice little blurb about a nice lecture that Marion Farmer is going to do for us, and that is going to be September the 25th, 10:30 in the Commons. I'll run the information again in your weekly, so you will have that. It is going to be on our NATO allies in the shadow of Russia. So Marion does an excellent job, so I suggest to put that on your calendar again. It's September the 25th. It's going to be in the morning, 10:30. So Neil Summerlin is going to be joining us again as a WC University lecture. It's actually a series, 8 lectures that he's agreed to do on women in astronomy. So that starts actually next week, Tuesday, 2 o'clock here in the Commons. So I want you to put that on your calendar. This is all in your monthly as well. Julia Siegler has agreed to come back and do some more of the physics series for us. He'll be here starting September the 10th. I think he's doing 2 in September and 2 in October. These are, again, part of the physics stepping stones in the development of modern physical thought. There were a couple of folks that he wanted to get to earlier this year that there just wasn't time for, so he's got 4 lectures this fall. Life at Lynchburg at the University of Lynchburg is starting again. That will start Wednesday, September the 11th. Again, we're offering a bus for that. We leave at 9:30. Lecture starts at 10. They have about an hour lecture, a little bit of an intermission, and then at 11 they have more of a discussion time. It's a very it's a very neat program. It's very social. You'll see a lot of people that you know. There are a lot of people here that attend that. Not so many ride the bus. We do have about a core group, about 5 or 6 folks. I think it was about less than 10 last year for sure that rode the bus. But it's nice that you don't have to find parking, and you can it drops you right off at the lecture site. So there will be a sign-up sheet for that, and that's on the enrichment board. There's also information on the enrichment board, the schedule for the fall, the registration forms. There is a fee to that. They charge $12 per lecture, or you can pay a flat fee for the whole semester. So any information that you're looking for, you can find on the enrichment board, or just give me a call, and I'm happy to help you with that. So the other thing I want to touch on is Denise and I have a trip next week, and we have no one signed up to go. So I'm not sure why no one wants to go on this trip, because it's a great trip. Denise and I did it last year. It's a Charlottesville fun day away. We are going to the Rotunda. We start the day at the Rotunda and with a tour at UVA. We go to Carter's Mountain Orchard for apples and all the fun stuff there at their farm store. They have wine. There's like a whole barn of wine that's separate from the farm store. I mean, that should be enough for you to sign up right there. Yeah, right, William's going. So we also, we have a little bit of a later lunch at Burton's, and they're shopping at, Trader Joe's. So, that's enough for me to go on the trip, is Trader Joe's. But anyway, I'm not sure if it's just too much to do in one day for folks, but there's a lot of standing and walking, but it's a lot of fun. We had a good time last year. So anyway, if you're interested in that, the sign-up sheet is on the enrichment board downstairs in the main lobby, or if you have a question, just give me a call. So I think that's about it for me. Any questions? All right, well, thank you.
Oh, Ted, it looks like you dropped part of what your speech. I guess you were getting a little emotional, so I'll just read it for you. And lastly, and most importantly, I'd like to thank our chaplain, William Deal. I'm just kidding. No, Ted, we are so grateful for you. And on behalf of all the residents and the staff, thank you. Our prayers go before you. Go before you and Sarah, as y'all both. I know she's been leaning into retirement life for a while now, but we do hope that you get to enjoy some time with the grandkids, some time fishing and all of that. And I know you've always got a place here, but if you would like to discuss becoming a resident, I'll direct you to the marketing office. Just a couple of quick announcements. I realize that it is over 2 months away, but want to go ahead and get it on your radar. It will be included. I just sent it to Katrina today on time. I didn't have to ask for forgiveness for sending it a few hours or a day late. But the All Saints Memorial Service will be Sunday, November the 3rd. It's the first Sunday, the traditional All Saints Sunday at 4 p.m. in our chapel. As we've done in at least the previous years, the 4 years that I've been here, any of our residents who have died and or those Westminster at Home hospice patients who have died will automatically be included in our remembrance. If you have others that you would like to add, there will be, and it won't be until October, a list outside of the chapel that you can add. And each and every name will be read during the service and remembered in prayer. I also invite you to provide pictures, especially of those residents. I have a lot of them, but you may have a better one. And if you've been to this service, or even if you have not, I create a kind of a memorial table out of our altar table with the names and some of the pictures of those that we are remembering. It's a good kind of visual remembrance for the service. You'll see more information. It's at 4 p.m. though, November 3rd. Again, I realize that's a long way off, but I want to remind you because it is a very important service for me, but for the life of this community. So you'll be invited to add others to that. They do not have to be residents, could be family, friends, former neighbors, whoever it may be. And lastly, as most of you are aware, on Sunday mornings, I am here mostly every Sunday, except typically the second Sunday. One Sunday a month I'm typically off, but sometimes that changes. So in September, I'll be switching because Mary Kate's birthday is September 23rd, and we're going to a cabin somewhere. We're glamping. It's not camping. We're glamping. But Reverend Sean Morrison, who's been with us before, he's a member of Rivermont Presbyterian Church, but is an ordained minister. He will be with us on October 13th. Reverend Kathy Chase, who is one of our residents and an ordained deacon in the Episcopal Church, the Episcopal Diocese of Southwestern Virginia, will be leading in worship that day. November the 10th, one of the Rivermont pastors will be with us. And then December the 8th, Reverend Mike Fitzgerald, who retired recently from Clifford Baptist Church, longtime pastor at Clifford Baptist Church out in Amherst, will be with us. And so we are grateful for those who step in so that I can have a day away, a Sunday away with my family. So grateful for them. As we look toward the new year, maybe you know of somebody, or maybe you yourself, you do not have to be an ordained minister to take part in this. But if you know of somebody, or if you would like to assist or help in any way, let me know. I'll begin working on the coming months into the new year. I think that's all that I have outside of the normal, I'm always here for you. So if I can ever be a listening ear, or a shoulder to cry on, a helping hand, or every now and then I'm good for a laugh or two. So, but let me know. Any questions, comments, concerns, prayer requests, sermon ideas? All right, thank y'all.
Fun day for everybody. Have your questions ready. Good afternoon or good morning. I'm sure everybody's eager to listen to this presentation. So can't tell you how much work and how much time went into this budget with the employees, the team, department heads. It was very important to keep costs down. So the budget was reviewed by the Finance Committee back in July. And many hours were spent reviewing this, and then it was submitted to the board on August 15th and approved. So much to do about nothing. Let's take a look at this. So this year's budget comes in at $37,086,000. On expenses, we come in at $36,966,000. As a reference point, in 2004, our annual budget was $18.4 million. And expenses were $18.3 million. In 2014, our budget was just $24,600,000. And the expenses were $24 million. And I'm astounded by that number because in 10 years, we've gone from 24 to 37. And that is just phenomenal. We certainly added some new residents, some new apartments, but it's just phenomenal how much inflation has impacted the community, and not just this community, all across the country. And I'm sure some of you have felt that, especially. So that gives us an excess. We break even about $119,000. Some of our ratios we need to look at. Our operating ratio for this budget is 100.1. CCAC, the 50th percentile, compared against some of our peers, is 101.5. And Fitch, which is rated communities, bond debt is 100.3. Net operating margin, that's our core measure. That's the measure, can we deliver the services to residents as a break even. So we're there for 3.63 cents to the good. And CCA 50th percentile is 2, and Fitch is 4.4. Net operating margin adjusted, this is where we add back our entrance fees. Entrance fees are very important because that's all our additional cash flow. That goes towards capital expenditures, debt service, especially the principal. CCAC, 19.6, and the Fitch is at 22. By the way, higher is better on that number. Of course, that 19.5 can grow depending on how many entrance fees you get in any given year. Our debt service ratio, this is really the only covenant we have to go by, other than the days cash in hand. Our covenant is 1.2. And we hope that this budget will be in around 1.82 versus a CCAC of 2.3 and a Fitch of 2.2. Cushion ratio, this talks about how many times we can pay our debt. That's 8 times right now, or 8. The cushion ratio for the CCAC is 10.5, and the Fitch is 9.1. Okay. Cash generated for this budget. I have to look at it on both sides of the equation because I have to make sure that there's enough cash coming in to cover things that residents don't have to pay for out of their monthly service fees, which is capital and debt service, especially the principal side. Cash generated is $37.4 million. Cash required, $36.7. So hopefully we'll see a little bit of cash left over at the end of the year. And that's all predicted. That could be higher, could be lower, depending on entrance fees. But hopefully it'll be higher. So next year, our ending cash and cash equivalents is $35.7 million. That does include some of our board restricted money, what we call the old fellowship foundation money. It's almost $9 million. But we have to have that number in there for our days cash on hand calculation, which is right now 4.17. Hopefully we'll be in around 4.17. Debt service ratio 182, includes entrance fees. This is a very conservative number, is 5.9. We'd like to think we might push $7 million in entrance fees, but based on our 5-year look back and some of the refunds we've had to make, the average is about 5.9. And this budget does include $3 million worth of capital expenses. Some highlights here. The number you've been waiting for. This budget includes a 4% increase. And my colleagues, many of my colleagues are budgeting higher than that. We're still digging out of the labor market increases and labor pressures. So revenue increases by 1.8 million, or 3.2%. Most of that came from healthcare fees, ALU fees, and WC at Home is actually doing very well right now, some of the revenues they're generating. And of course, we have some of the final fill-up for Riverside in there. Last year I already budgeted for 6 months' worth. This has got a whole 12 months of Riverside. Expenses increased by 1.3 million, or 3.76%. And that's also coming from WC at Home and depreciation. Especially depreciation. We had to start add all the depreciation for the Riverside building. So we have a 5% increase in entrance fees. 3% net salary increase, which that's what we use, but our increases are based on their anniversary dates, so some people may only get half the number of hours that they need in any given year, or depending on when their anniversary date is. So therefore, we usually see that the average increase runs out about 2.7%. Payroll expense increased by $433,000. Home health and hospice budget, a budget to have a net revenue of $135,000. Outpatient therapy is a budget to have a $205,000 bottom line. That goes back into the operations. Employee group health insurance plan for fiscal year 25 shows a budget increase of 2.3 or $37,000 based on a 6-year rolling average of employee health plan costs. But we are self-insured, and what we try to do is limit our exposure to serious illnesses, and we have a method of being able to put people out, take people off our plan to limit how much money we have to spend out. And that's done very well for us over the last 10, 15 years. In fact, we have a it's probably one of the lowest priced health insurance plans in the area. Now we see some of the real, this is where our pain comes from. As you can see in 2019, and I showed this graph last year, but I've added another year. Our payroll back in 19 was $13,250,000. Flash forward to this budget, we budgeted for $17,230,000. Over $4 million increase. That's just insane. I mean, we should have been increasing on average $300,000 to $400,000 a year, not $1 million a year. So, a bit of perspective here. So, the increase from 2019 to 25, as you see in the column, payroll growth since 2019 is $4 million. And so, therefore, we've increased our payroll 30%. But interestingly, the average pay increase has been 4.93 and 4.5, and the monthly fee increase has only been 6 and 4 in the last 2 years. But the average increase over those last years has only been 3.61 and 3.66 for this year. So one of the things we try to do is match our internal inflation with the increase. So this year, hopefully, I'd like to think that increases are not going to be this high next year, because we're trying to stay up with the market. We have to attract people. We cannot pay, we have to be able to pay people who, based on the market rates, and they have really increased over the last 4 years. So that's it, okay? So the increase is 4%, and I'll open the floor to any questions. Also, this handout, we will have copies of it down in Angela's office. And again, I have an open door policy. If there's somewhere, if you would like to sit down with me and discuss the financials of Westminster and the budget, please come by. I enjoy doing that. Questions?
Apartments or cottages?
Wait.
Excuse me. How many apartments or cottages are not spoken for, are not under contract?
Right now, we're 100% occupied and reserved. It should stay like that for the foreseeable future. the only thing that hurt us in the last year was the fact that wonderfully our turnover was very low. But that hurts us on a budget because your entrance fees slow down, which is a good thing. It means everybody's happy and living long. Doesn't mean they're happy. Sean said, doesn't mean they're happy. Questions? Oh, Mike going over there? Okay.
I was wondering.
Oops.
What am I doing wrong?
You're underneath that speaker right there. Yeah.
I've been wondering about the entrance fee. I've always thought of it as a purchase of long-term care insurance, because if we pay the higher entrance fee, everything is to some extent covered while we're here. But the tendency nationwide is for people to start going to retirement earlier. That's the reason for our long waiting list, is because people are, the rooms are not going to turn over as fast as they used to. If you come in at 70, you're going to be here 10 years longer than somebody who comes in here as 80. You follow what I'm saying? And I don't know, if it is an insurance, do you farm out to long-term care companies some of that coverage, or is it all handled in-house?
So if you all understood that question, it's all handled in-house. And as you know, when you move in, almost 45% of your entrance fee is considered a prepayment on your life care, on your long-term care insurance.
Right.
And then each year, you pay monthly fees. The same applies to that, 45% of that. So that's the pool of money that we use towards funding the healthcare operation. Now, as for the long-term, the people turning over, taking longer to turn over, that's why it gives us strategic opportunities to increase the size of the community. And that's what's happening across America. Because of the population is, what they call the baby boom wave that's coming through right now, the demand for these units is higher than ever before. That's why the city, I mean not the city, but that's why there's a competition coming in called LifeSpire, building cottages. Now, back in 2000, there was like 2004, there was 900 age and income qualified homes in this area. And we needed to get 10% of that number a year. But now there's almost 4,000. It's growing. That population is growing. The people who have worked hard, saved hard, and now in their retirement, there's more of them, and more looking for the. I would never. If you asked me, back in 2005, we had a wait list. Our future, the $1,300 deposit people to get on our wait list, there was 80 people on it. Now we have over 450. I mean, the backup, the wait, you need to be thinking about moving into Westminster 7 years before you need to do it, which is not always easy.
No, I might have some other questions, but I'll ask Paul. I realize these are kind of actuarial questions, which is...
I got a lot of actuarial numbers, but you have to come back and look at them.
I've been reading, am I on? I've been reading a lot about private equity firms that are getting into buying insurance companies now. Is there any discussion here about that or considering that?
I'm not familiar with that, but we're self-insured.
So there's no discussion?
No discussion.
Great.
Yes. Going back to our health insurance plan, we've only increased fees or the cost of insurance to our employees twice in almost 20 years. And our deductible is $500. And our gross out of pocket is $1,500. And it's a, we've tried to contain costs. If we had not contained costs like we have, instead of being $2 million plus, $2 million for our health insurance, we could have well been paying 3.5 million, 4 million. And I have the numbers to show you that. We've done really well. Well, touch wood. Don't want to jinx ourselves.
If we're 100% full and there's a waiting list of 4, 5, 7 years or whatever,
Mhm.
is it really necessary to advertise as much as we do? I mean, I've woken up early in the morning sometimes and see a Westminster Canterbury commercial on TV. And you look at half a page of the newspaper.
Yep. Sean will address that one. But yeah, that's a great question. But that's a very important, no matter how, well, I would say, yes, we have to advertise, maybe not as much. I don't know, it's not for me to answer. I just put it in the budget, what they need.
I read a lot about property insurance rates going up in a lot of parts of the country. Have we been impacted by that?
Yes. Our increase was 14% this year with going into the budget. Some of our colleagues up in New York went up 100%. Their rates have really gone skyrocket. I mean, some of them, they won't even renew their policies. So I thought looking at some of my colleagues around the country, we did a survey asking everybody how much their insurance was going up. You know, they said, well, we can't even get insurance. So I felt, you know, the fact that we only went up 14.5% this year, I thought our group did very well. Question? Well, I hope I didn't depress everybody. But we did try to keep this as low as possible. And hopefully we'll get back on track, because I have a chart that shows that our average increase in the last 20 years, even with the 6% last year, the 4% this year, is still less than 3%. So we need to get back into that, hopefully, and as we grow and add more, and the strategic challenges of adding new living space will also help fund the operation and keep us in that 2.2%, 3% range. Sean? Thank you, everybody.
All right, I was making some notes to some of your questions. I want to go back to a couple of them. Property insurance, when we talk about property insurance, 12, 14 years, 15, 17 years ago maybe, there was a decision made by my predecessor, H. Carey, that really worked out well with the other Westminster Canterburys, and now has about 18 communities across the state of Virginia as part of this Virginia Senior Care Group. It's a self-funded captive. Please don't ask me to explain the captive part too much, but we can do that at another time, and I'll have to get some backup. But it's a self-funded plan, and it's workers' comp, all of our insurance. And gosh, Paul, we probably have anywhere from 12 to 16 different insurance policies of all kinds of different things for what we do here, directors and officers, and a lot of things that go bump in the night we have covered, we hope. And that has helped us over the years to keep our costs down as a group. As Paul said, there's other people out there really getting pushed on these numbers for property. We know with car insurance, everything else is very, very expensive and keeps going up. But that group has been very helpful keeping our costs down. Advertising, do we need to advertise as much? I would say yes. And I don't think you'd find too many people in our industry that would stand up in front of you and say you don't need to advertise as much. Marianne, not speaking for her, but I'm going to. She can maybe speak next time and correct me or grab a microphone. We have shifted some of the things that we have used our advertisement dollars towards. We haven't been in every magazine in the same way. Yes, you may see us early in the morning on the TV still. We allocated a lot of money in the last year and a half towards our website and other things. So we have not seen it go up over the last number of years. I don't believe, if memory serves me correct, in our budget that we've been plowing as much money as increases in other areas have seen. But the worry with me in advertising, I think we've talked about it here before, when you stop and you realize it's too late, then what do you do with advertising when you don't have the ready list, the Canterbury Club, the Azalea plans like you want? That's important, and you need to stay in people's front of mind, I guess you would say. And as someone mentioned too, you have the summit coming, and they've got some really nice new shiny pennies they're going to be selling, and we want to make sure that people remember us as well. Health insurance, we will continue to look at our employee health insurance. While Paul says we have not had a lot of increases, and we have a very nice plan that can really help people if they get sick, but also have kept very affordable rates over the years, not everybody that we employ sees those as the same benefits as I think maybe you and I see them as. And sometimes people just want a dollar, and we need to try to make sure we're shifting with the desires of the workforce. Private equity, just a side note that's interesting. I get calls a lot that I don't answer, and one day I picked it up, and it was a private equity firm wanting to see if we'd sell the Drinkard Healthcare Center. Being just curious, I asked how much, and I want to say it was somewhere in the $25 to $30 million range, and I told them that didn't pay for what we cost to build it. I am not planning to sell the Drinkard Healthcare building, but just someone asked. And there is a lot of private equity in our business in so many different ways, as we've talked before, how they've purchased at least 6 or 7 of the rehab facilities in the area. They're in a lot of our lives. Actuarial study, just to remind people, and if maybe Paul can talk a little more about it when he does his next finance meeting, but we are required by the State Corporation Commission to do an actuarial study every year to make sure that our entry fees and our monthly service fees are actuarially funding the programs and services that we have here to make sure we cover debt and have projected out a number of years that looks like it is positive. So that's important, and we always do that, required to do that. Someone said moving in younger. We have people moving in younger and trends of that. I don't personally see that, and I don't believe it. I think a lot of people like to stay home as long as they can, move in when they feel like one or the other person may have a more pertinent health care need. That's just me. There are sometimes 2 people that come walking and whistling and move in without any health care needs. But when you look at our Riverside building, we have some really, really young people in the Riverside building, but the average came back to somewhere right about 80 years old for the average of the 26 apartments that moved into Riverside. So we can say the numbers are going down and people are moving in early, and I know you have friends here, and I can point to people who are younger than others, but the law of averages still keeps us somewhere around that 78 to 81 age, and that's pretty consistent for a lot of other places. Not everywhere, but a lot of others. And part of the problem too, and we just look at wait lists, last thing on budget is, and the reason why there is such demand now is, there's numbers we can throw out all the time that 10,000 people a day have been turning 65 for the last how many years, and there will be those numbers. Our industry as a whole, both for-profit and not-for-profit, really have not been able to keep up with that demand. Interest rates, obviously, in the last number of years have hurt construction, but construction costs for someone to come in and build Westminster Canterbury, over the years, we were different buildings pieced together, and, Paul, maybe $125 million to build this place. I always say if we have to go build it again out on Perryville Road or somewhere where there was enough land, we're looking at probably a $250 million campus when you look at construction costs and everything. So barriers to entry are difficult, and for places to build more has been tough, and therefore you have that demand and that supply not growing with it. All right, enough of my thoughts on budget. I just had a few other things. Had a question come in yesterday. Won't read the entire thing, but a portion of it. Questions for CONFAB. Would like you to address the deer infestation we have on campus. As you are aware, the deer are eating more vegetation than they have eaten before and are devastating to much of our landscaping. Please do not tell me there's nothing you can do about this problem. Lynchburg Police send bow and arrow hunters, as well as Hunters for Hungry can help with reducing our deer population. The person is not proposing eliminate all. very frankly, that's not something that I want to see us do, but I asked the person to recommended to start with the Building and Grounds Committee. That would ultimately then go to the resident council and then back to talk with staff. I have a yard, I have a garden that gets destroyed. Trying to grow pumpkins and gourds for 3 years, and just doesn't happen. They get under fences, they get everywhere, and it's tough. I know we all have gardens we like, and we try to spray, do all different things. It's difficult, but right now I don't have plans, and I'm not sure our insurance company wants to see those people on our property either. But I have asked the insurer just to see if it's even an option. I haven't heard back yet. Question number 2 kind of goes back to where Lisa had talked about new transportation policy for Friday trips to the mall. Kohl's and Target require 8 people. If we don't have 8 people, we're not driving. The person asked maybe we could lower it to 4. We obviously are still going to places like Kroger, Fresh Market. I don't know if we still do that, but we still have rides going out to do that. But yes, there needs to be a minimum. We'll ask Lisa to look to see at that minimum if it can be adjusted, or if there's maybe some things we do differently around holidays to try to get people out. And just talking about how these are more cuts in our services. The one thing I don't think Paul or Lisa said is we are actually adding an additional driver to the budget this year. So there's a 3rd driver now. So while maybe we're not driving out to the mall with a few people, we are actually driving a lot more trips to get people to and from places. So not just maybe in the way this person has asked, but we are trying to do that and keep up with the demand, because I think in the last 2 or 3 years our need for transportation has really grown, and that's why there's an extra person. Ted is retiring, as he's told us, and we're going to miss him. Ted still falls under the same requirements that we're not allowed to give gifts to staff members. And just because Ted's leaving in a couple of days after, it doesn't mean you can still give him, slide him a 50 or something. We would ask that you just wish him well, give him high fives, whatever you want to do to him, but no gifts to him, please. And then Appalachian Power shut down. Time gets past me. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 weekends ago. I believe Matt was called at about 8 o'clock or 7:45 on Saturday morning from our friends at Appalachian Power saying we're going to shut your power down in about 30 minutes. I apologize. We would like to have had a longer rollout. We will let them know that. For whatever reason, they felt the need to do that and then tell us it'll be off for 3 hours and go on even longer than that, and I apologize. 5 hours, I'm seeing a hand over here, and I apologize. But we were kind of captive there on that one, that we did not have any advance notice, and I apologize for any inconveniences. I think you've always seen with Ted and the crew that we try to tell you when we're turning buildings, water, different things off to give you a heads up so you can prepare, and that was just one that we had no control over that Saturday a few weekends ago, so I apologize. I am done. Long day for meeting, and I will open up the floor if there are any additional questions. If you'll wait for the microphone back there.
Are any of the other outings limited to, I shouldn't say limited, do any of the other outings require at least 8 people in order to be carried through?
Lisa is shaking her head saying, yes, there are requirements on us putting the van out on the road and driving, and we'll, I think usually with signups, do we have a minimum number on those so people are aware of that and maybe can try to get an extra friend or 2 to get the bus moving.
Thank you.
Like apparently Susan's trip that she's looking for friends for. Other questions? All right, I appreciate your time today. Thank you to our performers this morning. Great creativity. Thank you.